Man. It's like we went live. I feel like we did this already. I feel like we started to go live already and we didn't.
Almost live. It was almost live.
That was fucking hilarious, man.
I know there were a few comments like, where y'all at? I'm like, yep, my bad.
Sorry about that. It'd be like that sometimes.
That was me. That was some boomer technology stuff on my part.
Boomer.
I want to say that too.
The game is the game, man. It'd be like that sometimes, It's still Saturday morning. We all just trying to get right,
Mm-hmm.
That was fucking funny. What's the deal, man? We are back. It is College Hoops RX, and it is time to get with the people. It is Saturday, February 8th. Had some slight technical difficulties to start. Had to restart the stream, but it didn't take long. We figured it out.
Boomer tech moment on my part. Boomer tech moment by Spin Doc.
We figured it out quick, and we're back. It's Saturday, obviously. Saturdays are for the boys. It's a lot of winners on the board today. How you feeling today?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. We're snowed in here today up in Minnie. So feels like a good day to watch a bunch of sports and get some winners, man. So let's get at it.
You already know, man. It's been a couple days since I've been on. You were back yesterday.
Yeah.
Or you back Thursday? Friday, the slates usually
like
a little
6 games.
Yeah. Friday, the slates are usually a little trash when it comes to college basketball. So I would totally understand why nobody would want to go crazy on a Friday. But we got like 800 games today. And if you want, we can get straight to it.
Let's just go right into it. So
first game is going to be the Oregon Ducks headed to East Lansing taking on Michigan State. We got Michigan State laying 8.5 with a total of a 147.5. Obviously, you look at this game, you're going to think immediately legendary coach in Izzo had a very rough trip west. Back at the crib, friendly confines, early start, just about everything you would want to reset your team as you get back home. What are your thoughts on this particular ball game, Spin?
Yeah, so Oregon is in some pretty bad form right now. They've lost 4 straight, then they've lost 5 of their last 6. There were reports that they had a players-only meeting right before or after the Nebraska game and before Michigan. They played a little bit better, but didn't really seem to help. Whenever you get to this stage in the season and you're having like those players-only meetings, not usually the best. So
is it ever a good time? Is it ever a good time to have a players-only meeting?
No, it's not. No,
unless it's at the strip club after a win.
Yeah, no kidding. Unless you're celebrating.
Is there ever a good time to have a players-only meeting? I don't think so.
No, it's usually what it means. Usually what it means is that your season is starting to go sideways and you don't know how to get it back on track. So they now they've been in Michigan for most of this week. They now get a Sparty team that's looking to rebound after that West Coast trip. We kind of talked about that the other day about East going to West going to East, and yeah, it shouldn't affect the kids, but statistically it is. But you get a Michigan State team, and so Michigan State's going to be my look here, but not for the full game. I'm not looking at them full game. I am looking at them in the first half, though. So Michigan State has a plus 11.3 point margin in the first halves at home on average. Oregon has a negative road margin, and Oregon has actually lost every true road game first half this season except one, and that was Penn State, which they actually won the game, by more than this number. So they're not in good form on the road in first halves. They're not in good form now, period. What's been failing Oregon recently has been their shooting. They're shooting 32.1% from deep in their last 3, and they shoot 33.5% on the road from deep. You can see here, this isn't really a team that shoots the ball well from deep anyway. They're sub 200, even worse recently. So
look at Michigan State.
Michigan State's not good either. No,
they're worse. But even worse than a 3.
But But Michigan State has a potential elixir for that poor 3-point shooting, because not only are they top 15 in 3-point field goal defense, they're allowing under 30%. They're even better at home. They're allowing 27.7%. They're only allowing teams to make about 5 or 6 3-point field goals per game. But the other big advantage that Sparty has that I can definitely see Izzo taking advantage of early here is Oregon's interior defense over the last like 2 weeks has just been getting shredded. They're allowing from 2-point range 62.1% inside of the arc. Michigan State at home 57.4% 2-point field goal percentage. Their interior offense is top 15 or top 20, I think, in the country. So you have a situation here where you have a team that does show up at home, has had a number of big first halves against a team, as I said, by every single true road first half this season, except one, by more than this number. Second half on the road, it does get better for Oregon. They've actually won multiple road second halves. So that's why I wanted to limit this to the first half. So the official free play here will be Michigan State first half only. I'm not as confident about the full game at all, but first half -4, you can get that on DraftKings. This game does start in about 2 hours, FYI. So if you're going to get it now. Sosa, any thoughts on this one? Mute, I think.
I'm not mad at anything Michigan State. I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to just reassert themselves on their home court where they're comfortable. And it's early Saturday start. Team traveling west to the Midwest. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. Still a travel spot. I like the angle that you're taking. Wouldn't be surprised if Oregon just struggles to score the ball in general today. So
yep.
Yeah,
They just haven't shown well on the road in first halves pretty much all year. They've actually let some really inferior teams, even including Oregon State, in-state rivalry, but on the road, just kind of just take them. And so for me, I just can't get behind it. I just can't. So I got to back Sparty here.
Absolutely, man. And on to the next matchup that we're going to look at, and that's going to be William and Mary taking on Delaware at 2 p.m. We got William and Mary slight favorites at a -1.5 and an over/under of 167.5. It's kind of a high number for some of these for a smaller conference game, wouldn't you say?
It's a high number, but it's not nearly high enough. Over here is the look, and here's why. So for those of you that follow me, you know my 3 areas: pace, 3-point shooting, and free throws. And so you have both teams play at a blazing fast pace. Both are in the top 50. Both get up and down on the floor. Both are top 45 in least percent or seconds used in a shot clock before they get a shot up on every possession. And both of them shoot the 3 exceptionally well. Delaware especially, you can see here, 26 in the country, 37.9 overall, but they're nearly 40% at home, and their home mark would rank 4th overall. This is actually pairing very, very well with a William and Mary defense that, and I've watched both teams multiple times this year because this is the same conference that Towson is in. William and Mary's defense has just been outright poor. Their last 3. I mean, they allowed Campbell. If you've ever watched the Coastal, Campbell's offense is slow.
The Camels.
It's as slow as a camel too. But
what a crazy!
Put up 100 on them. What's that?
What a crazy mascot!
The Camels? Yeah.
Camels.
Yeah. Yep. Oh no, I'm sorry. They're the fighting camels. The fighting camels.
The fighting camels.
Fighting camels. Yep. It's too bad that it's just a picture of a camel. It's not like a camel with like boxing gloves or shit like that. Like, to me, fighting camels, that's what it should be.
Not like a camel smoking a cigarette or anything.
Oh, there you go, Joe Cool.
It's not like it's not a cool camel. It's a fucking camel.
but no. In all seriousness, William and Mary's defense has just been outright putrid the last 3. They with the pace that they play at. So their head coach is Brian Earl, who used to coach at Cornell. And if you remember Cornell from some of the past NCAA tournaments, you remember that they play at a very fast pace. They take a lot of a lot of early jump shots, and shoot a lot of threes. And William & Mary has been doing that. The problem has been their defense has just been horrible. They're allowing over 42% from 3-point range, and they're allowing almost 60% effective field goal percentage. Last three, they've actually allowed an average of around 80 points per game in the last 2 weeks. And that's playing three offenses that are really below average statistically. Hofstra, who is almost sub 300, Drexel, who's sub 250. And even though I love them, we don't make our hay on defense or on offense. We make our hay on defense. So our offense is just kind of okay. But even despite all of that, and I talked about Campbell, they're still allowing over 80 points per game. So Delaware's defense isn't great either. You can see it here. They're sub 340 in adjusted efficiency. They're allowing 116.3 points per 100 possessions. And they've also had some trouble defending the three here, 281st. It's not even that much better at home. And the one thing about William & Mary, I talked about Brian Earl's offense, is that it's a lot of 3-point jump shots. So you have here four guys actually, that are 36.5% or better. They've had multiple games where they've made 10, 11, 13 plus threes. So what you're going to see for this game is you're going to see a fast pace. You're going to see a ton of 3-pointers being taken. You're also going to see a William & Mary team that has just, their defense is leaking like a sieve. And on offense, William & Mary does get to the line a good amount, 36.9%, 71st in the country. What ends up happening with William & Mary is, and this is a staple with Brian Earl's offense, is that they run a lot of 4-out 1-in motion and use a lot of high ball screens with a post guy over the top to get to the rim. What happens then is when you have your shooters spotted up on the perimeter, then you can't collapse on a guy going over the top on a high ball screen. So you get a lot of one-on-one defense, which can lead to fouls. Delaware, average and allowing free throws too. So there's just so many opportunities for points in this game. This game also projects to be close as well, as you can see by the spread. So that can lead to free throws at the end as well. Both teams shoot exceptionally well from the free throw line at 74 and 77. And you have multiple guys on both teams that shoot over 80. So the number is sky high for a reason. I honestly don't think it's high enough. I think it's very, very possible that at least one of these teams hits 90 today, because neither play defense, both play fast, both shoot a ton of threes, and at least William & Mary does a great job of getting to the line. So the official play, I know it's big, but it's over a 167.5.
All right. And we love a Saturday bet on Delaware, man. Let me tell you. We got Wake Forest on a West Coast trip. Traveling, well, they just played Stanford, so it's not like a full travel spot. They're going to Cal, obviously at Berkeley, not a lot of movement. They're laying 2.5 with an over-under of 141.5, and I'm going the complete opposite way. I like Cal in this one. I'm taking Cal with the 2.5. It was originally to 4. This line's been bought down by 1.5 in a day. So initially I got it at 4, but I honestly do not care. I do not care. I like Cal to win the game outright. Give me the 2.5, and I'm rolling with Cal at home. And I know they're a barely 500 team. This is a storm courting type of deal for them today. I think they win the game. They win the game by 1 or 2 points. But I think Cal pulls this one out. My recommendation is the spread. I like them on the money line. So
yeah, I actually would say, honestly, I would say, yeah, I would go money line on this one. The back-to-back on the West Coast, and talked about it the other day when gave out Stanford, and they decided that their best player, Renaud, didn't deserve the ball, and you don't want to use him. But Wake Forest's shooting is just poor. Even in the Stanford game, they didn't shoot horribly well, but 348 in 3-point field goal percentage, 28.8%. I don't even know if they have anybody over 35%. No, they don't even have anybody else shooting over 34% from beyond the arc. So you get the whole back-to-back West Coast thing like that. And, I've watched Cal a number of times because I like to do late night live betting, and this Cal team has been playing a lot better recently. Madsen actually has them playing reasonably well, and the other advantage that I think that they have is on the wing because Joshua Ola Joseph, who used to be a Minnesota Gopher, they've been using him in a lot of different ways on the wing for him to use his length to get to the basket. And you look at Wake Forest's wings, and you got 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". Ola Joseph is 6'7", and probably has close to a 7-foot wingspan. So there's a number of ways that Cal can attack this here. The other thing that you have is you have a Cal team that's top 50 and getting to the free throw line. They shoot almost 76% as a team. Wake Forest has been allowing more free throws lately, but still, on the road, about 15 or 16 free throws per game. So you add all that up, and you have a Wake Forest team again that just really struggles to shoot the ball. They struggle to shoot on the road. They struggle to shoot, period. And when you have guys that have long wings like Cal has, because they do have on the wing 6'7", 6'7", 6'8", then there's just a lot of advantages. So I'm totally with you. I would go Cal money line and take the plus money. But if you want more safety, nothing wrong with the Jew.
You just call me scared. You just call me scared, but it's okay. It's okay.
No. Either way, you know what? Do a half unit on both. Fair
enough. What I love that Madsen's a head coach. I think that when you remember him playing, I think he was like the last guy you would think that would become a head coach. Because he's like a crazy energy guy. Your nickname is Mad Dog.
Yep.
You're taking techs in the league. You're protecting Kobe. He
had all the goofy dance, the goofy white guy
dancing at the parade. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's good to see him coaching. Obviously, he stuck to the Bay Area. Everyone remembers he played it at Stanford.
Yep. Yes, he did.
So seeing him with the job at Cal is kind of weird because he played he played under Montgomery at Stanford.
He did.
That was when they had Jacobson. Casey Jacobson. Then they had the Lopez twins.
Yep. Yes, they did.
Then they had Josh Childress. Yeah. It was like the progression of they continued to. They went from certain athletes to getting real athletes.
Yeah, they did. But he was at Utah Valley, led them to some pretty respectable seasons. Never got to the tournament, but led them to some pretty respectable seasons, and actually, built that program into. I say a winner, like they're not winning like conference championships or like making tournament runs or anything like that, but they
competitive for what they are.
For sure, right. Especially in the WAC.
For sure.
And
it's like Grand Canyon. No one thought Grand Canyon would ever be able to build any sustainable sport program at all. Nobody believed that was possible, and they've done that. So it's like that's another one, like you said, that's another school that's on the come up that's kind of quiet. No one talks about them much, like you said. But I remember betting on Utah Valley last couple of years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, putting up points, scoring, shooting threes, running out, enjoying basketball. Them in Colorado State,
Yeah, it's fun to watch. All right. Next up.
All right. Next game we're on to is Gonzaga taking on Pacific. Listen, this game is the most chalk bet I'll ever bet all year. We're taking Gonzaga on the spread. We like them to win by 30 tonight against Pacific. Okay. Not mad at their team total. They'll probably score 100 points. Their team total is 88.5. Gonzaga by a country mile today. I mean, it might be 50-12 at halftime. They will have no problem scoring. They will have no issues with this basketball team. Gonzaga has to get their minds right for some level of a tournament run because right now their resume is in question when it comes to the NCAA tournament. That's the reality of what we're seeing right now. That's the reality of it.
Yeah. So. I mean, if you're wondering how many times Pacific has beaten Gonzaga in their history, it'd be that many. Never. And not only have they never beaten them, I believe 7 out of the last 9 have actually been by more than this number. So think about that one, is that the spread is fucking 25 and a half. And the Zags are usually covering this number regardless of location, regardless of team, regardless of location. This has been an absolute Gonzaga domination. I can't argue with it. If you're going to play this game, you're playing the Zags. You're playing the Zags team total. You're playing the Zags first half total. This they very easily. I think that you told me this also before we went on, and I agree. They very easily could put up a hundo today. Very
easily. Just they should be able to run straight through absolutely straight through Pacific. They're not good. History's there. There's no reason for you to be even thinking of it. It's just set it and forget it. Showtime rotisserie game.
Yep.
Easy.
All right, to end the night.
All right, we got UC San Diego at UC Irvine. Your squad. You love Irvine.
I love Irvine.
You got UC San Diego laying 1.5 with an over-under of 139.5. What angle are we taking to get to the bank tonight?
All right. So Towson's my team, but my little brother team is UC Irvine, and I love the way they play. I love the way they're coached. I love how they approach games. A very team-oriented game, a very just all-around grind it out. They don't play fast. They don't shoot a ton of threes. They're not flashy, but they just get the job done. And when these two teams played last time at UC San Diego, who, by the way, has actually won, I think, 6 or 7 in a row, and this game is going to be potentially for the number 1 seed in the Big West tournament. So this will be a really fun game to watch. And I believe it's on ESPN, or it's actually on ESPNU. So for those of you that have cable or just have basic ESPN, you can watch this game. This is going to be a really, really fun game. I'm probably going to be live betting this one too. So what happened with UC San Diego is that, first of all, they do force a good amount of turnovers. They press most of the game. They have very, very quick guards, and they like to potentially try to get out in transition. You can see here fourth in forcing turnovers at 23.7%. That's actually, it's good on their home floor, not so much on the road. So on the road, their overall turnover rate for the game does go down. And that's going to matter against a UC Irvine team that can have some turnover issues at the guard spot, but they normally do a really good job at home taking care of the ball. But what killed UC San Diego last time, and what I think is going to hurt them again tonight, is that from a size perspective, you can see overall average height is UC San Diego is actually bigger. But the problem is that UC Irvine has 7'1" Brent Lupton. And so he's a German import, and he's got a really, really nice touch around the basket. He kind of reminds me of like an Arvydas Sabonis. Seriously. He's not what's that?
Word, he could pass.
He's great passer, great court vision, not the most athletic guy in the world, but has a nice little touch, nice soft touch, and has got a decent sized body. Now, the problem that UC San Diego had, and what I think again is going to be the problem, is they literally never attacked Lupkin. They never went down low, and they would just pass around the perimeter for almost 25 seconds and then launch threes. I forgot how many threes they took in that last game, but it was a ton. And you can see why. 6'8", 6'6", 6'5", 6'4", 6'6". So if UC San Diego isn't going to be able to score on the inside, or isn't even going to try to attack on the inside, which I can't really blame them because Irvine doesn't foul. They actually allowed one of the least number of free throws in the country. They're third here in free throws over field goals, but they also defend the three exceptionally well overall, but they defend it especially well at home. They defended especially well on their home floor, allowing, if I remember right, 30.7%, which that number would be top 40 in the country. So when I look at this game, I see a UC Irvine team that has been absolutely lethal on their home floor. If you haven't watched them yet, I posted about them a little bit ago, but This gentleman right here, Mr. Miles Che, number 77. Great inside outside player. Can knock down jump shots.
77, huh?
Oh,
77. Like
yeah,
Luca, like
like
Luca. So,
Luka.
so you're telling me Luca doesn't have some level of influence on the people playing ball right now?
I know, right? But no. Che's a great player. Che's a great player. Plays
That's
smart,
crazy.
plays heady, calms the team down, just does so many things well. But I don't know why UC San Diego decided to just bomb from 3 last game, and just totally abandon even trying to attack the basket. But even if they do, Irvine's got a size advantage down low, and they also don't foul. So if you're going to try to beat this Irvine team bombing threes on the road, it ain't going to work. So you add all that together, you add the short spread, and I would take UC Irvine money line, which is, I think the best price I can find is like minus 106. It's basically close to even money. Anything around there is fine. But UC Irvine money line for this game, I actually, depending on what I see on line movement throughout the day, I actually might look to take a little bit on an alt UC Irvine spread. The other thing is UC Irvine has absolutely just dominated this series. Overall, they have won 8 of the last 10, and the only game in Irvine that UC San Diego has ever won was in 2023. Otherwise, they've lost every single one, and some of them they've just gotten the living hell beaten out of them. So I will take Irvine for this one. They're too fundamentally sound. They have too much of an advantage on the interior, and you have a UC San Diego team with nobody over 6'8". It's going to be real tough for them to attack the basket. So they're going to have to do they're going to have to do one of two things. They're going to have to get a lot of steals and a lot of points in transition, which Irvine doesn't turn the ball over as much at home, or they're going to have to hit a bunch of threes, which I just mentioned how well Irvine defends the 3. So to me, it just doesn't add up. And this is a situation where overall talent-wise, these two teams are very, very similar, as you can tell by the spread. But the things that UC San Diego needs to do to win this game are things that Irvine just does exceptionally well. And if you're watching this game and you see that UC San Diego is trying to win again by just bombing threes, that doesn't work at Irvine. So I might look to back them again and again and again and again. Now, if UC San Diego attacks the basket, gets a few fouls on Lupton, could be a different story, but they haven't done it. They didn't do it last time. They literally didn't even try. They would drive into the lane and then just stop and look to kick it out and shoot a 3. They didn't even try to do it. So give me all that Irvine money line.
Yes, sir. And as we all know, it is Super Bowl weekend. If you're betting the Super Bowl tomorrow, which we all expect you to, please be vigilant with your distribution of units today. Tomorrow is the most bet day in all of professional sports. And it's one game that takes place because prop betting was created off the Super Bowl for a lot of people that don't know.
Yep.
You used to be able to bet Super Bowl props. You've been able to bet Super Bowl props for the last 30 years. It's not something new. This is, you know what I mean? So be careful. That's just a word of advice, a cautionary word per se for anybody listening or watching. Enjoy the games today, but don't go crazy. Be vigilant with your distribution of units and get ready for the Super Bowl preview that we'll have for you before the game at some point. Make sure you guys check that out. We'll have some bets for you guys. I want to say anywhere from 4 to 10 looks in total, at least. And that's my closing thoughts. Let's win some money off these kids. And if they lose this money today, we'll be right back to get it back from them on Monday.
Yes, sir.
So,
all right.
You already know what it is.
Yep. Peace.
Best of luck, everyone. Peace.